So today with Tangerine, we have with us Vivitsa, a ceramicist and the founder of Vivikoh Studios. So Vivitsa, how are you doing today?
I'm a little tired. I didn't sleep enough. I have a very small child.
Okay.
I'm tired all the time, but life goes on and I'm okay.
That's great. Acha, before we start with the interview, I just wanted to say that your studio looks amazing. I just feel like taking everything back home, and if you find that something's missing, you know where to look at. So Vivitsa, can you tell us how did your journey of being a ceramicist begin?
I was in a design college, NID, Ahmedabad, and after your foundational first year, you're supposed to choose a specialty, like a material that you're going to practice design in. And I've always been very attracted to textiles, so that was my first choice, but I didn't have enough grades for it. So I got my second choice, which was ceramic. It wasn't as attractive back then because it felt like there wasn't too much scope in it. You wouldn't know a famous person working with clay. Like as a layman, you wouldn't know anybody in the field. So in my third year, I went for an exchange to Israel, which more or less is Europe, and I just saw how much people cared about it there. There was a deep appreciation in everyone's life of this craft, and it made me feel so motivated. And like I felt really lucky that I was in ceramic then, because I could see this like gap in the market. There wasn't anybody with an Indian touch. Yeah, like no one was doing that giant mark of like, oh, here's how an Indian would do it.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when did you graduate?
I graduated in 2019.
And how long the course was for?
It's like a 4.5-year course, ends up being almost 5 years by the time you convocate.
So if you started in, let's say 2014, so of course there was like very less information on this profession,
yeah, like
right?
Social media wasn't really much of a thing. People had it. We'd all spend time on Facebook and we were not bad at it, but nobody had started making a lot of money off of it or something. Like the small business, everybody knowing how to do everything on their own because all this information's out there. That
I think it
wasn't as prevalent.
It caught up more after COVID also, you know? Like the small businesses and everything.
That for sure, yeah. I think people really wanted to be left to their own devices and figure out.
So, what's your inspiration and approach of, creating something?
I'm very Indian, I would say. Like I really like to define the Indian experience, and I'm quite personal with the kind of stuff I make. So you see a little bit of my unique voice in the things I make because they're very colorful, and I really like making women-centric things. I really like being a woman. I'm still trying to understand what that means. Yeah, and I do make a lot of work that makes me celebrate all the stuff that.
Can you show me something?
Yeah, like this is a mug. And
it's pretty.
It's called a sari mug, and
I love it.
I just felt like I love making women, and I love including women in everything. So I just feel like a lot of my work is just a lot of who I am. I think it's very unfiltered, the way I would talk, the way I am.
Appreciating women, right?
Not just women, just a lot about what my life has been like, all the things that I've been interested in. I sort of pour it out into things I keep designing and making.
I think that is what art is about. You make everything by your hands, right?
Yeah, this craft is, I think that's one of the most satisfying parts about it, that every process is entirely dependent on your hands.
Oh, that is quite good, like not dependent on the machine bit and all, at least for the creating part.
Yeah, right? Because like if you compare it to something like wood or metal, there is a material that you're sourcing, that you're sort of working with. Here, your material, if you were that sort of a potter, you could literally pick dirt off of the road and work on it. That is possible. You just need to understand heat work and like chemicals a little better.
Chemistry of it.
Yeah, the chemistry of it, the technicality. But it's really just one of the most deconstructed processes that exists in design.
Okay, so what is one of your most significant pieces that you've made?
It was back in college, and once again we were just touching and going with certain techniques, and there was a technique that they taught us, a very simple method into like achieve checks with these colored clays. It's called nerikomi. It's a Japanese technique, and you use colored clay and make sort of rolls of compositions and sort of cut them like sushi to reveal like different slabs with complicated imagery inside.
Oh, wow.
So a simple thing to do in it is like make checks, lines, patterns, etc. So I saw some like the demonstration of that technique, and my mind fired off. And I think I spent like the next half a day or like 6-7 hours alone in the studio trying to make a portrait in it. I love making portraits. I've been painting portraits since I was a child. So that came out so wonderful, and I was so happy with myself. It's one of the nicest memories I have in the material.
Can you share some hiccups while building Vivikoh?
I'm a very casual person. I'm very disciplined in my work ethic, but when you're building a business, you have to be a bit more strict about the logistics of things, like who comes, how they feel about the material, how you justify this, how you do your finances. I'm quite bad at all of that. I really like just taking it all in my go and just being like, "Mera man kar raha hai." Like it comes really easy to me. Hard work comes really easy to me. I can put as many hours as one can in achieving something. I just don't know how to do it in a very like a business-minded approach, I'm sure. So I think that was one major hiccup.
To follow that up, like not just financially, like how do you stay motivated? You know, because being self-employed is crazy. Sometimes you lose motivation. So how do you stay motivated?
Well, for one, I've never had a creative block. I'm very lucky that way. I have like a bit of an opposite problem. I'm very hard on myself on not doing justice to every idea I've ever had, and I have so many. So I think it's yes and no. Like I really like working for myself because I'm my favorite artist. I really like what I make, and I have a lot of respect for what I do. And I don't like working for myself in a way that I'm a little strict with what is the standard that is like the minimum requirement, and I don't have a lot of respect for an innate skill. Like I feel like that's a baseline. Of course you should know this. So it's just I'm a little bit tough on people and myself.
Who would you say your target audience is?
I think over the years, with the amount of things that the studio has done, like I manufacture, I've participated in making lots of commissions, I keep a website stock, I drop specific designer collections. It's a little bit of everything. And with this, I've noticed that my target audience changes in all of this, through all of these ambitions. So ceramic, the practice of a ceramic studio, I would say, has a lot of categories. And if the more of these categories that your studio practices, the larger your target audience. So yeah, for me, I've never really thought of it that way. I felt like at some point, anybody was my audience.
How do you process failures?
I don't do too well with failures, for sure. Like it's very painful to sort of get back up from it again. I get back up no matter what. That's also never been an issue. I've never really just sort of laid there and felt sorry for myself. But there's been many. And at first it was like, oh my God, like the end of the world. But then you were like, oh shit, I keep failing. And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm getting better. I didn't fail at that exact same thing again. But yeah, sometimes there were too many things that failed simultaneously or like really close together. So that just felt like a giant period of disappointment, failure. And it really messed up my confidence for a bit. Not too long, but yeah, for a bit. Which I've also, since I was a child, I've never really faced an issue with that. I would approach everything with a lot of, like, I can do this. I'm fine.
I think as children, we are more open to trying new things, and as adults, we just get suppressed. I think by our own thoughts. You know, what will the other person think of me? What will they think of me? Yeah. And then we start to achieve perfectionism, and I think that's
Yeah,
myth.
perfectionism is
Yeah.
quite something. The ruiner of lives, yes.
Yeah, definitely. The next one is a tough one.
Sure.
While being a ceramicist, it's actually mentally fulfilling.
Yeah.
But does it provide financial satisfaction?
If you're a good businessman, businesswoman, it does. It's really fun when you start doing well in it. But if you're not a business person, it doesn't super instinctively come to you. When something goes down and stuff is not going your way, it can be really tough to sort of see people your age and people from your field do. I don't even want to start like thinking of the numbers. Sometimes it's so depressing that somebody would be earning 20 times as much as me with the same education, the same. So it's a bit like, what? 20 times? I'm not that bad. So yeah, it's just another one of those things. There's a give and take in it. It's super mentally fulfilling. Like I've really never experienced a craft like this that makes you feel so focused and tests your patience, gives you more skills at patience, and the idea that you're able to hold a tangible piece of product that has been your art, something else. Like industrial design that way is something else. And then industrial design in a way that you're making these little I made this cup, I drink from it every day. I think that's super sweet. Humble also in a way, and sort of ambitious
And
also
I
in a
think
way.
super satisfying.
Yeah, it's just really, there's no comparison.
Yep. I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it can be, yeah. So to answer in like a shorter way, it's sometimes very challenging to see other people make far more money than you do.
Definitely.
But then, I don't know, on a good day, then you're like, oh my god, I'm playing with mitti. That's what I do. So
Any advice to the people who might start with this journey, or who might be interested in being a ceramicist, and just I would say a financial and a mental advice, both.
okay, I don't know if it's the right thing to do before you have clarity on your passion, your general work ethic, like if you're somebody who can really put in some bizarre amount of hours, and also your support system. If you, it doesn't have to be your parents, it can be many other types of situations, but there really needs to be a lot of people that will tell you that it's okay that you don't make enough money, tell you that it's okay that your glazes are all bombing and everything you make keeps dying and nobody is going to pay for what you make. Like there's so many things that will happen to you that will make you feel like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to have clarity about where you're starting from. So as long as you feel like you're showing up confidently, then I feel like it's going to be easier. But I would say the real advice would be to reach out to somebody who's willing to talk, who's in the field. And for that, I would really like to tell you, I'm super open if anybody wants to just give me a call.
Definitely.
If they're taking it seriously, if they want to know a little bit more. I'm very candid about like disappointments and the pros and cons and all of this. So yeah.
Keeping the technical aspects apart, a person who's not studied, because you studied, but they are passionate about it later. So do you think they can just pick it up and
I would say the idea that I'm doing business for sure has a little bit to do with the fact that I have a design degree, but the fact that I'm an artist has nothing to do with that. I often say this, like I give this as a regular piece of advice to people. To students, that it's really not important to get a degree. I would have not gotten a degree. It didn't help me in any other way than just, I don't even tell people that I'm from NID, even though it's like a powerful tag.
Yeah.
But I know that it wasn't useful to me. So it's not useful to everybody. If you just feel motivated, if you just are super attracted to it and you know you can like put in the work, it's nothing. It's 2024. You have like small businesses popping like this and this.
At least now we have like things like social media.
Yeah, there's so many tools available if you if you can like sort of play the game is a nasty game though. So if you're willing to play the game, the degree holds not much, nothing. The fact that I studied this in the everyday of my ceramics, nothing comes from the college. It just comes from me really liking this material and wanting to make art in it all the
So
time.
you have to be passionate enough.
Yeah, passionate enough, hardworking enough. It's all good.
Last question,
Yeah.
and that might be an intense one.
Okay.
Or maybe not. What's your idea of success?
I feel like I'm a really ambitious person. Like some of my ambitions seem unrealistic sometimes. Well, to me, not to people around me. Everybody else seems to have a lot more faith in me. But yeah, I felt like my ambition or like my desire for success is a little unending. No matter what I keep accomplishing, I keep being like, oh, but मैंने वो नहीं किया and I have to. Like, I don't know where I'm aiming, but it's like really scarily high. So if I get caught up in that, when I'll finally get successful 2 decades later, it can be a bit daunting. So I don't like to think of it that way. To me, it's more like I have happy days. I wake up excited. Like, unless something really bad happened, which it has on a couple of occasions, I'm just really excited about my work, and some days are harder than some, but just that sort of like happiness factor, I would say, that I correlate that to success. Yeah, I feel good. I feel like I had a successful day. I feel like I've had a successful month that I was able to get in a lot. So I'm also very productivity focused. So I always usually have like shit to show for my hours and stuff. So that's also never been an issue for me. It's very like easy for me to see a tangible outcome of my work, which is sort of success for me. So it's very constant. Yeah, every day, the mundane life, I feel successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the financial bit?
No, yeah. I mean, if you just have to be okay with making a little less money. I'm not good at spending money. I've never really, not very comfortable with it. Like as an idea, it doesn't
appeal.
Yeah, like I keep thinking about what I want to make. Very little about what I will do when I get the money I will make from selling what I make. Like I know that I really want to be able to sell what I make because I want people to have it. But it's way less to do with that tangible money outcome. So to be very honest, I don't really understand money all that well. I'm not that good with it. Don't think in it. So
you just keep going.
Yeah, I think it's this stuff that keeps me going. Oh my god, I have these ideas in my head and it has to come out and it has to be like this. It's just this like drive. Yeah.
Definitely. No, idea needs to be initiated also.
Yeah.
Definitely. On that note, thank you so much for giving us the time.
Yes, of course.
And thank you again.